Morning. Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. So this lighting in the morning is just fantastic. Today I have a book review of Louis L'Amour, Down the Long Hills. I think I've recorded this video twice now already. I just sound weird and early in the mornings, but I'm gonna go with it. So Louis L'Amour, Down the Long Hills. This book was published in 1968. I really like Louis L'Amour. I like how he writes his books. This was another one of those 175-page books that has a lot in it. There's a lot that happens within a short amount of time. There's some things I liked. There's some things I disliked. So let's get right into it. So some of this plot revolves around Hardy Collins. He's a 7-year-old kid, the son of Scott Collins, and he is with some friends of the family, and they are headed to Fort Bridger, where Scott Collins is. And so along the way, in the Wyoming area, on their way to Fort Bridger, they are attacked by a Cheyenne raiding party. And so there's a huge massacre. Hardy escapes with his Mustang Stallion Big Red horse, and also grabs Betty Sue, who's this 3-year-old girl, friend of the family type thing, and they head out into the wilderness try to head to Fort Bridger to find his dad. And along the way, obviously, they're dealing with the elements. You have winter coming in from Wyoming. You have Indians that want, either his scalp or his horse. You have unsavory characters. And so Hardy has all these things as a 7-year-old boy to deal with, along with caring for a 3-year-old. And so the odds are stacked against this young man. And we get to see him use all of his survival skills out in the wilderness to try to survive. And so in terms of what I really enjoyed Hardy as a character. I thought his character was really, really good. I thought as we learn a little bit from his backstory in terms of how his father raised him and how he's very adept and has learned to live off the land and trap and hunt and, start fires and everything else. He is kind of this MacGyver kid as a 7-year-old that knows enough to keep himself alive. And when his father finds out about them not making it there, he sets out with a couple of other gentlemen and tries to see if they can find his trail and find out where he's at. And even though the other 2 gentlemen that accompany Scott Collins out on this mission to rescue or find his son, whether it's alive or dead, they at first don't believe that any 7-year-old could survive out here. The elements, the Indians, everything else, everything's stacked against him. And so throughout the story, as they start uncovering trail and tracks and sign that the boy may be still alive and maybe a little more cunning than what they originally thought, they start to have hope. And it seems like once that hope comes, then you get more dynamics within this plot and everything else. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the challenges. I thought some of them were interesting. They made for good conflict, sub-conflict. So I thought L'Amour did a really, really good job. Nothing really jumped off the page in terms of poetic or lyrical excerpts that I wanted to quote here. I don't expect that a lot with L'Amour and his writing style. And again, I'm very new to it, 4 books into L'Amour, but I don't really expect that yet. Maybe I will be surprised as I read more. In terms of dislikes, there was a couple. I thought the ending was abrupt. I like how L'Amour ends his books, and he does so doesn't draw things out, and I appreciate that. There's not fluff. He doesn't take 500 words to say something, and so I appreciate that. I really just felt like, and maybe it was because I was so invested in Hardy in the story, that I really wanted a little more. When we got to the main conflict, 2 pages later, the end. And so I felt like that was a tad abrupt. And I was wanting a little more there, just a little. And so that's my only real dislike. That's my only real negative I have with this. Otherwise, I think it's a really good story. So I'm going to keep it short and simple, just like L'Amour. Louis L'Amour, Down the Long Hills. I give this a 4.2 out of 5. I think it's a great read. It's definitely worth your time. Probably one of the books I'll recommend my dad read it when he next. And so, anyways, I hope you're having a great Tuesday, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.